figured now is going to be as good as a time as any to come up in here and just go ahead and make a quick video on this exhaust system here. So as you can see, I already got the muffler delete and the resonator delete. I did this a few years ago on this car. But the issue that I'm dealing with here, we got the catalytic converter here. This is the post J-pipe catalytic converter. So as you can see here, it's basically post header there. We already got a flex joint. And I drove all across Orlando over there to Kissimmee, and I could not find a single shop that had either these studs or these washer O-rings. These basically sit right here. They're about the same size. I was able to find the smaller ones for the rear muffler where that part goes, but I just wasn't able to find them. I have enough nuts, but I rounded off one of them. I have an extra though, but I ended up having to come in here with the cutoff wheel and go ahead and make some quick business. That's why I had to drop the whole thing. So while I'm in here though, I'm looking at this thing, I'm thinking, this may leak again down the line. So luckily, since I don't ever drive on the road, only on the racetrack, I'm just gonna, what I was thinking is, so basically, just a quick resonator, gonna come in here. I got these here, not the best quality, but it's just what they had in stock. I'm gonna go ahead, probably run a bead in here, maybe come up on the inside, run along there as well, keep it clean. Comes with hardware. This way, I have 2 gaskets. I know if I'm having a leak, I know where it's coming from, I know what the problem is. And I actually hate this red, so I'm gonna go ahead and touch it up here. And if I want, it's even possible I could kind of do one of these, but based on, probably not even gonna worry about that, to be honest. It's not even talking, don't forget about that, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So, got this extra just in case, exhaust clamp, got the welding table moved over here, got a good workspace, got the little MIG 205 here. It's a 3-process machine, but I really only run MIG on this thing. I got the TIG over there, but haven't been able to really fire this up. I know TIG would really be a better process, but I'm just not dialed in for TIG yet. And I kind of want to see if I can do this tonight, as well as I got this 308L stainless wire for MIG. I want to try this out. I did get some Blue Demon 308L for TIG, but really the reason I want to go ahead and get this a test is because when I get over to my Mazda on the K-swap headers over here, I don't even know, I might not have left, here they are. When I get in here, I'm going to be welding these damn similar metals here when I'm putting on this flange here. So that's, I kind of want to see if I can get this dialed in running on 7525. I really hope I don't have to go back and get some old 9010, but hopefully 7525 do it, and then I could just, I think about 20, 21 maybe CFM, VH, you know what I'm talking about. But come back with some more updates videos along the way. Probably not going to film as I do anything, maybe a little bit as I weld. Might be interesting, see if I can get some footage maybe through one of the welding helmets here, but anyway, we'll be back. Big progress update. So obviously right here, J-pipe out of the car. I had a few nuts that were giving me some issues, so before I stripped them out, what I went ahead and did, and I haven't seen this suggested or done before, I grabbed this soldering iron, and that was able to heat it up, just the bolts, very quickly. Sadly, the stud, the whole piece, I'll show you later, ended up coming out. Hopefully it'll just go back together, no issues, and there won't be any leaks in the front, because I would really hate to fix the leak back here but then introduce a new leak up here. That would be terrible. But we're moving right along, got great progress. Now thankfully this actually slips perfectly over here, so I'm going to be able to use this joint here and then clean the red paint off, and I'm just going to throw my weld right on there. But for some weird reason, this is just a way too big gap. Now if I would have been smart, if I would have been paying attention, realized what I did not know or didn't check properly is that this flange would have fit the existing piece here. Now I don't know if there would have been space, if there would have been length to fit the cherry bomb here, because this side, this piece that I just cut off here from the J-pipe, the, whether you want to call it the Y-pipe, we call them the J-pipes on the TLs here, that doesn't align. But on the other side, it does for some reason. And I have the part in the car. I don't want to show you right now. You're just going to have to take my word for it. But that might be something worth looking into if you want to save the extra time, save a little bit of money. But I'm just going to do here, I'm going to actually cut this flange a little shorter. And I'm going to go ahead, I might even patch this up a little bit just to make sure there's no possible points where there could be a leak. And then I'm gonna just stick it on here. I'm not gonna hard weld it or anything, maybe not even tack it. And then I'm gonna fit this back up. And that's gonna allow me, it's gonna let me go ahead and get some measurements for that side. And then I'll know what size reducer neck I need. And that way I can go ahead and finish out these flanges. And that way it'll still be all removable and everything. So here we go, back to work. Alright, so moving right along here, we got the welder, got the fan on the welder, giving her a little break, trying to keep that duty nice and low. Don't mind the welds, they are boogers. I have never welded this thin material before. The reason I'm doing it is for practice for the other car. But starting to get a little better, still kind of high, still kind of inconsistent. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to finish out this side. I'm gonna look right in here. The big important thing for me is just that these are all strong, solid joints in here. And as you can see, not quite enough heat's getting through here, so that's a telltale sign. Then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna bolt them together. That way, when I'm welding this one onto this one, it won't warp. Then I'm gonna fit it back up in there. I'm gonna get my measurements, get my tacks. And I might wait till tomorrow, pull it off, weld it out, and then we will be done and ready to go. Alrighty, right back to it. Bam! There we are, quite a bit better. Coming along the inside here of this dang old V-band, man. Maybe, you know what, I might as well, just for peace of mind, do like the tiniest little bead in there. Gonna let it all cool off. Gonna give it a little bit. It's actually about 1 a.m. right now. Gonna chill, let the welding machine cool off, let the piece cool off, workpiece, and get back under there, get the measurements, get the tacks, and go to bed. Alright, finally for the first time got it mocked up under the car here. So as you can see, I'm just gonna slide that on top of that. That's gonna sort of self-align that straight into the cherry bomb, which is gonna be welded hard to the J-pipe, which is coming up over there. And now okay, so really right here, this is what I wanted to show you, the example of the J-pipe. So picture a V6 engine, well, you could go bank 1, bank 2, I don't remember right off the top of my head how they number them, but here's a bank, and they merge with this J here at the flex pipe. This this cherry bomb, this catalytic converter here, and then it runs back, cuts into a Y. A factory, you'll have a muffler here and then another resonator here, but I already had that deleted from years ago. So from here back is going to be factory, from here up is going to be factory, and then this whole midsection here is going to be where I am doing my work. So hopefully in the morning tomorrow, my dad's going to be able to help me drop her down on the ground. I'll just finish weld her out and be good to go and be done. Figured I would go ahead and tap in. This is kind of a interesting point here. So I got everything up on the workbench already tacked up, nice and in place. I'll show you this slip joint here later that I went ahead and did to help in case of leaks. But also, I was blowing through here. There wasn't enough material to hold the heat that I was trying to give it. And this is actually a cherry bomb. That was a leak. I need to just completely, I don't know what to do about it. Just hide it with the heat shield probably. But what I ended up doing is I put a smaller adapter piece inside of here as a sleeve, which is okay because of the inner diameter here. I'm not actually losing anything. And so I'm going to be able to weld, fill that back in. I'm going to slow down a little bit, you know, let the workpiece cool itself off. And then that'll help a lot with that heat. But in here, the slip joint, the adapter slides over this piece. So that'll give it almost like a double seal. And then I'm going to come back in here, weld that out real quick, and we'll get right back to it. I figured, you know, while I'm here, whole thing I started this for was to replace the exhaust gaskets, so I'm going to get some of these. Luckily, these are not the issue. The problem ones that I cannot find are the bigger ones, the ones that go on the catalytic converter itself. As you can see, is a big size difference. However, these are the correct size. So because I have the part number, I'm gonna run to the store real quick. Here it is, actually. Walk all that way, just trying to find it, but go ahead and triple check before I go that this is the right one. That way I know what to buy, and clean that up with a wire wheel, maybe some sandpaper, clean it up under the car as well. And we're getting pretty close to being back on the road. Also, of course, gonna replace this. So 2 more gaskets, maybe some lock nuts while I'm out. I'm gonna make a list here. Lock nuts, gasket, maybe even tabs to kind of hold that heat shield in place, if you know what I'm saying. That would actually help with the look a lot. And then VHT, gonna probably throw that paint on there before I go drive into town. That way, give it time to dry. So we'll be back later. Pretty much just finishing it up now, just hoping that I don't run out of gas. I'm getting kind of low. I did use this stir weld stuff on the outside, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sand it down, and then I'm gonna use this high temp paint. I went ahead and I got the VHT on this here cherry bomb. I hated that red, but it's already starting to look a lot better. I don't think I'm gonna do the whole thing like that, but it's tempting though. We'll see. I think I'm just gonna leave it like that though, and then just do this joint here, and we'll be good enough for government work. Let this bad boy cool down, and then fill out the other end there, and be good to go. Hopefully, she still slip joints still be slipping though. You know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know why I do this, take things one step too farther than I should have, but here we are. Let me learn from my mistakes. Okay, let me show you, please. All right. So here, obviously, back to the coupler we had from earlier, and I was welding along the inside of here, and this right here is where it all went wrong. So I should have just not welded this. I should have trusted the gasket. Either way, the gasket's still gonna have to do its work, but as you can see, I mean, that's barely even a 1/4 inch of pipe there left, so come on over here. What I ended up having to do is cut the slip joint back all the way to here, and that's almost, I mean, that's barely even a slip joint at this point. Obviously the gasket's covering up maybe like a 1/4 inch. It's maybe a 1/4 inch of slippage, but either way, I mean, this doesn't even really stick out too much. It should get a good seal, shouldn't have any leaks. If we do, well, then here comes the nuclear option. But anyway, learn from my mistakes, please. I should have just left that slip joint the way it was. I should have tested for leaks. Got the old gasket on there, so we're about to go ahead and try a new one before we go for the vinyl. But right now I'm gonna take a break, clean up everything, come back, go to the store, get everything I need off my list, take a little rest, get a little food, and we'll be back.
2 hours later.
And alright, we are getting right into it. As you can see, these are at least lined up good enough for coming, I'm talking about get the Dremel, maybe open the bad boys up a little bit, but that'll be a bracket, that'll be a tab, it's good enough. I mean, I'm obviously gonna trim the edges here, but I'm gonna finish. I already got the other side welded there, but actually, let me just, why not? I'll show you. There she is, nice and official-like. So give me a few more minutes and we'll be right back to it. Something incredible just happened to me, something that maybe has never happened to any person ever in their entire lives, in the entire history of the universe. I just ran out of gas after I was done with the final weld. Not even, I mean, I say after, I had finished it, and then I was gonna tie it up, I was gonna go back over, kind of, get that root in there, and then do the gas backflow, the afterflow, but there wasn't any, and I noticed it, so I just pulled it off. I knew I was getting low, but I didn't know that I would have the perfect amount of gas. So that is pretty exciting. 75-25. Ani, ready to take her back, switch her out again. Had to let that thing run its cooling cycle. Sadly, I gotta find one of these electrode ground clamps here, not electrode, because I want to do some TIG welding. I think that I would be getting much better results. I mean, as you can see, this is just ugly as dog water. But it will work, it will hold, it will do what it needs to do. So we will mount all this up, heat shield, everything, and we'll be back probably after dinner. Wanted to get in here, get a quick shot of the heat shield. Maybe hard to see on camera, but there are no places where the resonator is actually touching the heat shield itself, obviously excepting the tabs. Now I could get maybe, I don't know, a little rubber grommet, stick that in there. I don't know if that's worth it. The factory doesn't even do that. I think I'll be fine. And then the last thing really to do is just come in here, clean up these tabs. I may even leave it bolted up just to do that. But I am starting to get wore out. This project's dragging on a whole lot farther than I thought it would, a whole lot longer, a whole lot deeper, but we'll figure it out. We're pretty much right there. We're pretty much done. No more welding helps, but it's gonna be a lot of cleanup. So we'll get back to it later. All right, outside, and that can only mean one thing, time for some paint. So the last thing I'm gonna do before I move on to that, I'm gonna hit it with this wire wheel real quick. Obviously gonna, just for example's sake, just to show you how much better it sounds it up. I mean, look at that weld compared to like this one. I feel like that's gonna hold paint way better, but there's only one way to find out. So go ahead and now I'm just gonna do every single side with the wire wheel, be extra safe. The guy at the Ace Hardware, when I was buying this thing, he said have fun, and I intend to. So, all right, let's try it. So after I painted, it really just articulates just how incomplete a lot of these welds are, the insufficient fusion, the overlap, the underfill, not a ton of porosity problems, but a lot of spatter. And honestly, if someone did this work for me and tried to charge me for it, I'd be pissed. But you know, being as it is, obviously did it myself. This is actually my first time doing a project like this. So obviously, even though I already took the welding school, we never did anything automotive, and this was really the whole reason I wanted to do it in the first place, was to be able to do automotive. And I've been kind of thinking up this project for a little while now, so it's kind of convenient to have the time and the place to be able to do this. So now let's go ahead, let it dry, and then I already got this all cleaned up. I'm gonna go ahead and install this bad girl, get these mounts back on there, and then I'm back in business. Now real quick, I don't think I mentioned this in the video, because anyone who, if you have a welding machine and you are doing this project, hopefully by now you know what you're doing. If you're not, or if you don't, you really could hurt yourself. So please just try to be aware of the safety precautions. But one thing you want to do is disconnect the negative terminal of your battery when you are doing welding anywhere on your car, and I mean anywhere. Now the exhaust really is one of the places you can get away with not doing that, but I'm still gonna go ahead and recommend it. And then alternatively, the second thing you have to do, which may even be more important, is the ground clamp. So I put the ground clamp directly on the pipe, almost as close as possible as I could get it safely to the stud where I was welding. And because of that, I don't have any backfeeding, any electrons going through my sensitive electronics up here, which could easily fry any of the sensors. And so basically that's the trick. Just be careful, be smart, and know what you're doing. So as you can see here, I tried to keep it looking as factory-like as possible. But if that doesn't say what's what, we did just get a start up there. We had no leaks around this grommet. That looks pretty crappy, if I do say so myself, but we're gonna run it. And then all the way back, everything back there, all unmodified. And I don't know, one thing that worries me, I did squish out these crush washers here. If I've never done this before, never seen this happen before, sorry, not crush, these split lock washers, as you can see. That's kind of weird. I've never done that before, but I ended up just running without them. So good thing I got those flat washers. But Now the plan is to get all these jacks out from under here and get her back on the ground. Here we go. Alrighty, not the first start, because she's a little warm. Got some warmth in her, but very low on fuel. Gonna have to close that hood up there in a second. Wow, that just sounds much better. Not even really louder than before. Little smellier than before, maybe. I'm gonna try and get in here, record a little quick pull, crack the windows. Uh-oh, nighttime has fallen. Happily, I believe I have fixed the issue. This small little, it's almost impossible to see with the way, sorry. It's almost impossible to see with the way I have this light, but this small little piece back behind, there we go. That rusted old bolt holds that heat shield back from the cat pipe. And sadly now, what I have done is I have managed to make it worse. So I have now fixed the issue, preemptively speaking. Usually I don't count my chickens, but also that's not fooling anybody, but it is cool to get to keep to retain the factory heat shield. But yeah, that is not gonna fool any single person who ever looks through that to think that it's a cat. Good thing I never drive this car on the road. So I'm gonna take it for a little test drive, make sure that really was the issue. But other than that, have a good night, folks. And we are back. Now, I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm gonna say I'm done. And by I'm done, that means I'm done. If it's still a problem, if it's still leaking, I'm gonna have to take it to a shop. However, I'm not getting back under the car to show you, but as you can see, I was able to use the hardware. I have a nut and a washer there, and that goes on to the catalytic converter. And so these are the two factory ones up top. That's the new one. I drove this morning to AutoZone. I got a new stud kit. Now, sadly, I wasn't able to actually use any of these studs because I wasn't ever able to get that old stud out. So that old stud is actually in there with the rounded off nut is not in there though. And I probably did this maybe 15-20 minutes ago. That's still smoking hot. But right in there, if you look closely, there's one nut, little bit of stud, two nuts, and then this 14mm socket. Sadly, sacrificially, I had to weld to the nut. I spent probably 5 hours trying to get this thing out, welding, doing different things. The problem really that I have the most is that I am out of 7525 gas. Now I have this 100% argon, but that has no CO2 in it. And so because of that, I cannot get my MIG welder to lay down anything substantial that would be able to give me enough strength to torque and hold a bolt. So I had to destroy this die hard piece. However, I also invented a new failure mode on my welder. As you can see, I burst right through the cup here, shorted it out. What happened was the wire bent over, attached to the cup, and then electricity ran through there, and I touched this to the subframe. Now, I've always touched this to the subframe because I thought it was fine, and generally it is, but it was kind of not exactly, would you say, aligned properly. And so with this new cup, with this new tip, this new nozzle, everything is a lot smoother, comes out a lot better, good gas protection as far as, I mean, if I had the right gas anyways. But I'm calling it, guys. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get her started up, get her off the jack, back her down off the ramp, and pull her out, and then we'll be good to go. And if not, it's at least drivable. I can drive it to a shop. Here we are. It is now Tuesday the 29th. Started breaking into this project on last Friday, and it just kept rolling over, a few more one day at a time, you know. But here we are. I'm done. I'm wrapped up. I was not able to find the place that actually, hold on, let me try that again. I'm done welding the exhaust system, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. It sounds a lot better, but sadly the one thing I was not able to do is fix that popping, leaking sound. And the reason, I think, is because it wasn't the exhaust causing it in the first place, which, you know, is kind of funny. But what I think it is the power steering fluid is kind of bubbling and aerating. I think that's what's giving that like hissing and pinging sound. So I got some coming in the mail for it. I'm gonna put some more fresh power steering fluid, top it off. If that's not enough, I'm gonna get the dang old sealant stuff, go over top of that, and hopefully that should get her fixed up nicely. But the car sounds a lot better. The car drives a lot better. Just got to get rid of that one last problem, and I'm at the point I'm willing to take it to the shop if just the power steering fluid and the sealant stuff doesn't do it on its own. So, but that sounds like a whole other video for a whole other day, a whole other project. I'm getting back in the daily, good old CRV, working tomorrow, so back to the real world. Anyway, that's about it.